What's up for today? One of the original artisan soaps, at least from when I first started wet shaving, and a new brush, new to me, from Yaqi. Hello again, Michael Friedberg here from beautiful North Carolina, and today I have two products for review. The first is what I consider to be one of the original artisan soaps. When I first started wet shaving, these 6 or 7, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, I don't know. Mike's Natural Soaps was one of the few artisan soaps on the market, at least that I was aware of in the US. Queen Charlotte was another, and I had never used this originally. I had provided some tubs to people in the UK who could not buy directly from Mike's in the US, and he often also had peaks and valleys in his availability, because I think he was actually in school at the time, would make a batch, it would be a period of time, you had to wait, and it would come back on the market again. This was at the time a very, very popular artisan shave soap. It is a tallow and lanolin based soap that includes cocoa butter, shea butter, and avocado oil. This, as you can see, I hope you can see that, is the Bergamot, Orange, and Ylang Ylang scent. Let me just show you what it looks like inside the tub. It is a pretty hard soap, but obviously not like a hard puck of soap. And the scent, is just, it's just spot on for me. It is a simple, some might call it a simplistic scent, but I think that's not really fair to it. The Bergamot and Orange give it a very nice kind of a tangy, sweet citrus scent, and then Ylang Ylang underneath it adds a bit of depth to it. It just has a delicious citrus scent with a bit of depth to it. Really, really nice. Quite enjoying it. Scent strength is strong, not very strong, but strong. And if not strong, then certainly quite distinct. I don't know if that helps or not. The brush for today is going to be this 24 millimeter brush. This is the Yaqi, another Yaqi synthetic. This is the Moka Express handle, which if you hold it up to the light, which I don't think you'll be able to see on camera, but has a very cool swirl pattern inside the bottom part of the handle. Just a really easy to hold, even though it is six-sided. Six-sided? Sure, six-sided. It is what I believe is the same knot as the Synbad knot, and if not the exact same knot, then certainly very similar. Very, very soft tips with a surprising amount of backbone and some spring to it, so I'll talk about that while we're lathering up. And the razor for today was requested a number of times after the 2 shaves with the Karve Shaving Christopher Bradley stainless steel razor, and that's going to be the Rockwell 6S. People were asking about the comparisons between those. I'm going to go ahead and assemble the Rockwell, which of course I've used many times before. Today it's going to be a Derby Premium blade. I've been using a set of Supermax and Lord blades. Those guys just did not work that well in here, but we'll see what happens today for this Derby Premium. I'm going to be using the base plate number 4, so that goes facing towards you. That's how you know which one is active. Yes, I will be including a washer. So, all right, let me go ahead and put that together. Get my face wet, and we'll start lathering. We'll talk a little bit about the soap and then a bit about the comparison of the razors for today. Get my face wet as always. 2 days plus of growth. Let's get the brush wet through a little bit. As you can see, I have the remainder of this week's scoop out in the loading bowl. Let's just get the brush sort of wet through and shake out most of the water. This brush has a tendency to clank, by the way. It's very hard to avoid that, so I'm going to do my best. I hate that noise. I don't know, I just don't like it. So I try to avoid it where I can. So dry brush, and you can see it's already creating a bit of a paste. No issue loading this. I am exerting some pretty good pressure down because the brush is pretty springy. It's a combination of springy bristles and very soft tips. So I'm just putting a bit of water in there and just going to continue to load until I get a good heavy load for today. A little more water. And you can see what's happening on the side of the bowl there. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to scoop out what's inside the bowl. There we go, just put that on top. All right, I'm gonna put a bit of water on my face and then add a bit of water to the brush. As always, definitely recommend sort of wet brush or at least wet tips on a wet face just to really help the soap get going. The soap immediately feels, by the way, kind of a nice creamy slickness to it. Doesn't feel pasty. And the scent remains quite distinct, really lovely. Yeah, early on, this was definitely a very highly regarded artisan soap. I just never had a chance to use it. And I had a person help me pick some up at the recent Maggards meetup, just doing a bit of kind of remote shopping for me, which I want to thank that person for again. Very kind of him to help out. All right, I'm going to add a bit of water to that because that's going to continue to thicken up a little bit. Yeah, the brush, as you can see, I can definitely splay it, but you can feel there's a bit of resistance there. No scritch or scrub, just a little bit springy. So if you continue to bear down, it's not that the brush is scritchy at all, but you'll feel the pressure of the bristles. There we go. Yeah, beautiful soft feel to it. All right. Enough faffing about, as they say. And yes, I said faffing. All right, so the Rockwell 6S, I have shaved with this razor a number of times. So let's just talk about the comparison with the Karve Shaving. This is the base plate number 4 for the first 2 passes. Then I'll flip it over for base plate number 2 for the final pass, Derby Premium Blade. Yeah, very nice slickness, by the way, in the soap, and a nice sense of protection too. A little bit of extra fattiness to it. So, for the Rockwell 6S, this remains for me a very efficient and very comfortable razor. Definitely heavy, and I've not measured, but this razor feels heavier to me than the Karve Shaving one. I think there are two sort of primary differences for me. First one is the design of the handle. Obviously, the Rockwell has like an actual textured grip. There's sort of a distinct knurling on there. So if you like that feel, that you can feel a bit of roughness and texture to it, this handle would be a better option for you than the Karve Shaving one. But I think the primary difference for me is that this feels a little clunkier in use only because the design seems a little bit more crude in some ways. And I don't mean poorly executed, I just mean in terms of the head styling and the way that the base plate is designed and the weight of the razor. This feels a little bit more like a tool than a bit of an artistic design on the razor. And in terms of the shave, as efficient as this is and as comfortable as I still find this razor, I would still pick the Karve Shaving over this one simply because I found the comfort level on the base plate C certainly to be really almost exactly right for me. And there is nothing wrong with this razor. If you have recently purchased this razor, then please don't feel like you made a mistake because you didn't. This razor remains very well built, very sturdy. It's going to last you a lifetime. It's going to last whoever gets it after you a lifetime as well. They're going to be around for ages and ages and ages. And the fact is that, much like for the Karve, you have an option to adjust on the base plates. Now just look what's happened, by the way. Slow dripping off the lather there, so that means a fair amount of water in there. All right, let's lather up for pass number 2. That'll still be on base plate number 4. And the slickness and kind of the general fatty creaminess of the soap combined with the softness of the tips makes this very, very nice feel. There we go. All right, and even though that handle is covered in soap, not slippery. All right, this is going to be pass number 2 across the grain, still on base plate number 4. Oh, ooh, you see that? That was close. Yeah, and these, the Lord blades and this Derby blade, and I think the Supermax I was using before, I think I've used 3 different blades this week. I've used each blade only once, just trying to work through the sort of the loose sets that I have. Not a super great fit for this razor. The Lord particularly was really not comfortable. Yeah, man, that soap just got beautiful slickness to it. I may have shaved with a sample of this once before in years past. But I just don't remember. Yeah, one of the benefits of the Rockwell, I think, is that it does feel so sturdy. There's no give, there's no play, there's no question or concern about blade edge control. And base plate number 4 and number 2 as a combination for me works great. There we go, pass number 2 done. So let me rinse my face. I will switch the base plate and then we'll lather up for pass number 3. Yeah, and again, as I've said before, if you're nervous about doing this because your hands are wet, just use a towel and just hold the head. All right, I'm just gonna flip that. The only part about that that's a pain is the washer, because once the washer gets wet and your fingers are wet, the washer tends to stick to your fingers. But really, this just takes a moment or two. And then to tighten it, I will hold it inside the towel. That just seems like a smart move to me. All right, wet my face again. And let's go ahead and I'm going to rinse that off a little bit, because now that's just getting crazy. All right, there we go. And then I'll squeeze out the remainder of the lather in just a moment. There we go. There we go. Pretty fair amount still there. There's always a risk when you do that a soap splatter goes right into the camera lens. I hope that hasn't happened. There we go. Base plate 2, certainly a lot less blade feel than base plate number 4. I would still say, people ask, how aggressive is the Rockwell? I just don't find it to be that aggressive a razor, even on 6. It is certainly more aggressive than it is on 4 or on 2, obviously, but it's still not an aggressive razor. All right, base plate number 2 for the final against the grain pass. I know some people argue against the fact that this is an adjustable razor. Well, you are adjusting the shave by replacing the base plates, and you could say the same thing for the Karve Shaving. You are modifying the way it shaves. swapping out base plates, which you could certainly do on the Karve as well. You could start off with an open comb for the first 2 passes and then switch to one of the closed comb base plates. Maybe the better term is a modular razor as opposed to adjustable razor, but yeah, really, really good feel of slickness and protection with this soap. I am a big fan of tallow and lanolin, but I don't want to leave the impression. I know some people think that if you're a fan of that you don't enjoy the others, and that's just not true. I have a distinct fondness for tallow and lanolin because I like the way that it feels. I like the sort of the creamy fatness of the soap. I like the way it works for my skin. But there are plenty of vegan soaps that perform just as well and have a slightly different feel. Still very, very good. All right, almost done. Yeah, and this I think is one of the nice advantages of the Rockwell, that it really is easy to modify. You want to switch up your shaves, very easily done. It's 6 razors in one. Almost done. Just a touch of overhang to watch out for. Good residual slickness. Again, as always, I don't recommend shaving where there isn't any lather, but yes, it does happen, just kind of force of habit, kind of muscle memory. All right, rinsing. The soap actually, despite how fatty it is, I find actually rinses off more easily than I might expect. It doesn't have that kind of very resistant fatty layer to it. All right, let's rinse off once more. There we go. Towel off, and then we'll talk a bit about the post-shave. Yeah, I am very happy with that result. And for me, post-shave is really good. I don't have any kind of sense of like dryness or immediate tightness. On Monday when I left this go without any kind of aftershave, skin, generally speaking, still felt pretty supple and pretty good. Yeah, nice. Now, despite how good that feels, I'm still going to use an aftershave for today. And it's going to be something I have not used in quite a while. I was kind of going through the stuff I had at the back of the shelf, and there's some things I just haven't used in ages, and one of these is the Declaration Grooming. This is the Contemplation. I bought this last year at the Maggard meetup directly from Declaration Grooming at the table there. I have the soap and the aftershave. I just picked this out because this does have, to me, not really a citrus scent, but it does have kind of a very similar kind of light, fresh, somewhat floral, somewhat kind of an outsidey scent. But I will say, when I first poured this out, and I've had sort of the same thing every time, I don't really enjoy this scent as it comes out of the bottle. But that scent opens up, warms up, and becomes a very, very pleasant, I don't know, it just smells really good. It has kind of a slightly sweet, slightly floral. Ah, good. And for me, this has just enough menthol in it that if I use too much, I have a brief moment of eye-watering pleasure. And then that fades. But I really do like the way this makes my skin feel. It's actually a really good compliment to the soap. It is one of the aftershaves though that I rinsed my hands on. It just leaves a slightly, I don't want to say fatty, a slightly greasy or slightly oily feel to it, and I think that's just part of the ingredients in there. Face feel though is excellent. Very nice cooling effect that lasts for a few minutes. I don't have my glasses on, so there's no way I can read that light green text on that white label. Literally impossible. Well, we're going to leave it right there, my friends. That turned out really pretty well. All right, let's talk about the products for today. Very, very glad that I finally had a chance to pick up one of these tubs. Mike's Natural Soaps. This is the Bergamot, Orange, and Ylang Ylang. Tallow, lanolin, shea butter, coconut butter, avocado oil. Very nice soap. I love the scent. Some may find it a little too simple. I love these kind of not too sweet, not too tart, bit of depth citrus scents. Very well done for me. Soap performance is excellent. Great glide, good protection, good post shave, very easy to lather. Glad I have some. All right, let's talk about the brush, which helped it all come together. It is the Yaqi 24mm. This is the Moka Express handle. Very cool effect when the light hits the bottom part of the handle, I think. I believe this is the same knot as the Synbad knot, but if not, it seems very similar. Very, very soft hips, good backbone, good density, and a bit springy, but still without scrub. So if you like a bit of, sort of cohesion to your brush, but you want some very soft hips and a synthetic brush, that's a great option. Definitely a different face feel than the Tuxedo. I enjoyed that one more than the Tuxedo knots. If I had a choice, I'll pick that knot over the Tuxedos. No questions asked. Today's razor, which I use so we could talk about it, and the Karve Shaving Christopher Bradley stainless steel, is the Rockwell 6S. Overall, still an excellent, easy to use razor. Very good shaves, close, comfortable, efficient. I love the fact you can, of course, modify how the shave is going by just using a different set of base plates. It happens to be that for me, 4 and 2 is an ideal combination. But as I said, there are definitely some things about this that make it stand apart from the Christopher Bradley razor. The overall construction is just a bit heavier, I hate to use the word clunky because that sounds negative. It's just a bit of a heavier, less refined design in some ways, but still a very, very good razor. Quite enjoyed using that this week. And then finally, to top it off, I'm glad I pulled this from the back of the shelf, the Contemplation from Declaration Grooming, the aftershave. Very, very nice. As I said, the scent initially out of the bottle, not really for me, but it really changes once you put it on, and delicious. Now again, this is a perfect example of post-shave face feel from the soap. Very good. You put the aftershave on, and as much as it helps your skin calm down, it has some very nice botanical ingredients in there, you are going to feel a tightness or a bit of dryness on there because of the ingredients in the aftershave. That's just how it is. All right, my friends, once again, thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate the time you're taking to watch these videos. As always, please feel free to leave comments or questions against this video or any previous video. I think I skipped answering the comments this week, but I'll try to catch up during the course of the upcoming week. Hopefully I'll get caught up. And in the meantime, thank you again so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.